Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's Tiff with Voices for Independence, Fitness and Activities Group, here with you on this Friday morning. It is April 9th. I hope you guys are having a great start to the end of your week. I definitely am. It is nice out here in Erie, Pennsylvania. A little gray, but at least it's warm. I think it's going to be in the 70s today and 80s tomorrow, which is super unseasonable, but that's great. I'm going to take advantage of the warmer weather. I have my windows open in the kitchen and my door open, so I'm loving it. I've already been to the gym today for a 6:30 a.m. workout with a friend, so I'm ready to go. I hope you all stick around and get a workout in as well, or get outside in this nice weather if it's nice where you are as well. Matt will be on, I believe, around 10 with the workout of the day, so you can check that out if you're not quite motivated yet. But to end the day, or end the week, I have a sweet recipe for you. One bowl, 8 ingredients, very simple, and there'll be something you can treat yourself to throughout the weekend. We are going to be making chickpea chocolate chip cookies. Again, don't judge until you try them. It's like the black bean brownies. They're wonderful and a great alternative if you're trying to watch what you eat and choose healthier, non-processed ingredients. So for this recipe, you'll just need your food processor, or you can use your high-powered blender. This is making a thicker batter, more like a cookie dough, obviously. So I'm using my food processor just because there's more space in the bottom when we use our high-powered blenders, because of the cylindrical shape, and it tapers towards the bottom. It blends well, but it seems to take longer. And with the high power motor, it heats up the ingredients, which is good in some situations. But because we're going to be adding chocolate chips to this, and you know me, I don't like to wait around. We don't want our dough to get too warm because we don't want our chips to melt inside the cookies before we bake them. So these are going to be baked just like traditional chocolate chip cookies. They're going to bake in a 350 degree oven. So preheat your ovens. Now, this uses a nut butter. It takes the place of oils. The oil or the butter in a regular cookie. I am using peanut butter, so this is more like a peanut butter chocolate chip cookie, which is even better. The recipe, I couldn't find the recipe I usually use. This is almost exactly the same, but this lists like other nut butter alternatives. I believe this one says cashew or almond butter. Yes, in the ingredients list, the one I used said peanut butter, so I'm sticking with that just because I know it tastes great, and who doesn't like peanut butter chocolate chip? It's the best. And your main ingredient, as I stated, is the chickpea. So you're going to drain and rinse 1 can of chickpeas, which I did ahead of time. I just threw them back in the can for convenience purposes of this demonstration. And it seems like when you cook healthier, everything just uses one bowl. So that's wonderful. We're just using this one container. We're going to be putting everything in it. So the 8 ingredients you'll need is your canned chickpeas, rinsed and drained. You're going to need 1/2 cup of your nut butter. I already measured it out just because I have to stir my nut butter. And then we're going to add 1/3 cup of maple as our sweetener. You're going to add a little bit of vanilla, and then a little bit of baking soda and baking powder, just a 1/2 teaspoon of each for the baking process. And then a 1/2 cup of chips. I'm using my 72% dark chips. Now again, this brand just tends to be a little bit larger of a chip. It's more disc shaped. Here, I'll show you one. So I'm going to throw mine in and blend them up so there's little specks of chocolate in it, but these are kind of big chips. So when you're making chocolate chip cookies, I feel these ones are kind of big for chocolate chip cookies, although that's what they're for. So I'm going to throw mine in so they get blended in a little bit. So I'm going to start. When I go through it, what they want you to do, they want you to start with the chickpeas and add your nut butter, which I'm going to do, and they want you to start blending that. And they say for about a minute. So I might cut my blending time down in the demonstration, but you definitely want to follow the instructions because you want your cookie dough batter to be smooth. So it closely resembles the texture of traditional cookies. So if you see me cutting down my blending time, it's just for this demonstration, but make sure you follow the instructions on the blending time. They say that in the notes, that's the one note they give, is that it's important to make sure you blend until smooth. And also, again, like I mentioned with your food processors and your high-powered blenders, the motor is so powerful that they can tend to heat up the ingredients. So let your dough cool a little bit before you add your chocolate chips. But we'll play it by ear here in our live demo, so we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna add my 1 can, 15.5 ounces, I believe is what, 15 ounces of chickpeas. And then my 1/3 cup of nut butter. I was just looking for my spatula that I had out. Now they say you may need to stop and scrape the sides of this, but that's usual with whatever type of mixer you use, whether it's hand mixing, a regular powered hand mixer, or if you're using one of these blenders or a food processor. You definitely will have to stop and scrape the sides to get the larger ingredients back in so we can blend it until smooth. So take your time and make sure you get all your nut butter in there, scraping the measuring cup as well. And then we're going to, I never have anywhere to set my utensils during this live. All right, so then I'm gonna securely put my top on and start the blender or food processor. Let me use a correct term. Make sure that if loud noises bother you, turn your volume down at this time because I am going to start mine. All right, so it's blended to like a fine grain. I see some of my chickpeas have kind of gone up the sides. So again, at this point, I am going to scrape the sides, pressing that ingredients back to the bottom by the blades and making sure I scrape my spatula off as well to keep all ingredients in there. And then I'm going to, sorry, I keep putting my arm in front of you. I am going to add my maple at this time too. So there's some more liquid in there to help blend this together. So for the maple, we want 1/3 cup of maple. That is our sweetener in these alternative chocolate chip cookies. So we're gonna pour that right in there as well. And then we're gonna start the blender up again. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and add my 2 teaspoons of vanilla at this time, just so all my wet ingredients are in there and helping to blend the ingredients together. So we're gonna add 2 teaspoons. I'll do this down here and then pour it in. And then we're gonna blend it. Now they say for approximately, I believe 1 to 3 minutes, depending on the power of your machine. So I'm gonna turn it on, get it as smooth as I can, then we're gonna finish up. I just want you to see what the dough should look closely to, but again, make sure you follow the blending times and the instruction when you do this at home. Okay, it's getting close. I feel it's blending up nicely, so I'm going to add my 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and then my 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder as well. And then we're going to turn the blender on one more time. And you get ready for our finale here. All right, I'm happy with the texture. I think it's looking good. I'll show you. I'm just going to put my 1/2 cup. I just don't have many left, so it's roughly a 1/2 cup. The 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. I'm blending mine in. You can do your traditional way of hand mixing or folding it in. My chips are just a little bit larger in size, and I want them a little smaller on the cookies, so I'm just going to pulse it at a lower speed just to kind of get those mixed in. I don't want to crush them too bad, though, but it probably will. Let's see what happens. That's what's nice about the food processor. There's a pulsing feature on it, so if I just want to do a little bit, I can pulse it, and that way it won't destroy what you have going on there. So it looks great. It looks like chocolate chip cookie batter, doesn't it? All right, so I'm just going to scrape my sides like I typically will. Be careful because you have that blade in there, so you can pull it out just like you would take out your beaters of your hand mixer and scrape the excess batter off that as well. And then just make sure everything's mixed in well. You can transfer it to another bowl if you're more comfortable doing that, but I just did it right in the container itself. And then all we're gonna do is drop them just like you would traditional chocolate chip cookies. I am using some parchment paper just for easier cleanup, but use a non-stick pan. Again, we're just going to follow traditional chocolate chip cookie baking instructions when it comes to the pan. And then I have my cookie scoop. Now for these, the one thing that's a little bit different in baking is that they only spread a little bit. So if you want your cookies to be flatter, you might want to just press them down a little bit, not much. They will flatten a little on their own, but not like traditional cookies. So in the past, I've just done them like this, and they're more like chocolate chip cookie bites or ball-sized bites. But if you want to, what you can do, let me grab a glass. What I would do is I would just take a glass you have, and then I would lightly spray it. Let me see if my cooking spray's right here. Yes. I'd lightly spray the bottom of my glass with a little bit of cooking oil, and then you can kind of tamp down your cookies, flatten them a little bit for baking. That way it'll help when they spread, and they'll look more like traditional chocolate chip cookies as well. And these are gonna go in your 350-degree oven for, they're baking for 12 to 14 minutes. So a little bit longer than regular chocolate chip cookies, but they're gonna taste great and they're much healthier for you. So I have always enjoyed them between these and my black bean brownies. If I'm gonna do a baked good for myself, when I'm craving a sweet treat, these are the two I tend to go to. I've been making them for years and I really enjoy them. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. I'll share it in the comments below. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Get outside and enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's nice where you're at to get some fresh air, and I will catch you later. Stay tuned to the rest of the lives that we have for you today, and have a good weekend. I'll be back Monday morning with some more delicious recipes. Take care.